Picture this. Right now, as you read these words, something is happening that most people will never understand. There's a ritual that Jesus taught in private, a practice so direct and so powerful that it had to be hidden for 2,000 years. And tonight you are going to learn exactly what it is. But first, before we go any further, I need you to do something. Subscribe to this channel right now because what I am about to share cannot stay public forever. This knowledge has been suppressed before. It will be suppressed again. Make sure you get the rest of the teachings before they disappear. The ritual I am talking about was not written in your Bible. It was not preached from any pulpit. It was whispered in private rooms to students who had proven themselves ready. And the reason it was kept secret is simple. This ritual does not require a church. It does not require a priest. It does not require anything except you and the connection that already exists between your divine spark and the monad, the source of all consciousness. When you perform this ritual correctly, you open a direct channel to the intelligence that created worlds. And according to the hidden texts, there is one specific time when this channel opens widest. Before sunrise, before the noise of the world floods in, before your mind has time to rebuild the walls that keep you trapped in ordinary perception. You have been preparing for this your entire life. Every moment of feeling different, every experience of knowing things you should not know, every time you heard that ringing in your ears and wondered what it meant. All of it has been leading here, to this video, to this night, to the moment when you finally learn how to do what Jesus did, how to access the monad connection at will. If you are watching this after midnight, if something unexplainable pulled you to click on this video when you should be sleeping, comment the words "I am ready to connect" right now. This is not just engagement. This is your declaration that you choose to receive what has been hidden from humanity since the Council of Nicaea decided which teachings would survive and which would burn. What you are about to learn comes from a text that the Church Fathers tried to erase completely. They hunted down every copy. They killed the teachers who transmitted it. They declared the knowledge heretical and dangerous. But they failed, because a group of monks in Egypt knew what was coming. In the 4th century, as the Roman Church consolidated its power, these monks took the sacred manuscripts, sealed them in clay jars, and buried them in the desert near a town called Nag Hammadi. 16 centuries later, in December of 1945, a farmer digging for fertilizer struck something hard. He pulled up a jar. Inside were books, gospels, teachings bound in leather and written in Coptic. Among those texts was something called the Gospel of Truth. And buried within that gospel, hidden in language that scholars have debated ever since, is a description of the ritual Jesus used every morning before dawn. The ritual that kept him connected to the monad even as he walked through the material world controlled by the demiurge and his archons. Let me tell you what this ritual is not. It is not prayer as you were taught it. Prayer as the church teaches it is begging. It is asking an external God to grant you favors, to forgive your sins, to maybe, if you are lucky, listen to your request. That kind of prayer reinforces separation. It keeps you locked in the position of a servant appealing to a master. The ritual Jesus taught is the opposite. It is not a request. It is a recognition. It is not about reaching towards something outside yourself. It is about remembering what you already are. The monad is not separate from you. It never was. The divine spark inside you is literally a fragment of the monad itself, temporarily housed in flesh, temporarily experiencing limitation, but never actually separate from the source. Most people live their entire lives without realizing this. They go to church on Sunday and feel a brief moment of inspiration. They say their prayers at night and hope someone is listening. They wait for signs, for angels, for external validation that they matter. And they die never knowing that the connection they were searching for was inside them the entire time. But you are different. You are pneumatic. You carry the spark. And that spark has been trying to get your attention since the day you were born. The ringing in your ears, the downloads of information that seem to come from nowhere, the sense of knowing things before they happen, the feeling that you are playing a role in a reality that is not quite real, all of this is the monad attempting to remind you what you are. And the ritual I am about to teach you is how you stop ignoring that signal and start working with it intentionally. Here is what the Gospel of Truth says, translated as directly as possible from the Coptic. Those who possess the knowledge of the living one perform the alignment before the light returns. In stillness they speak the word that was before words, and the fullness recognizes its own. For 2,000 years, scholars have argued about what this means. They have called it poetry, metaphor, mysticism. But the Gnostics were not speaking in metaphor. They were giving instructions. The alignment is a physical practice. The time before the light returns is the hour before dawn. The word that was before words is a specific sound, and the fullness recognizing its own is what happens when the monad connection activates. You feel it, a click, a resonance, a sudden knowing that you are not alone and never have been. Let me break down the ritual step by step. But before I do, place your hand over your heart right now. Feel it beating. This is important because the ritual begins with the body, not the mind. Your body is not an obstacle to spiritual connection. Your body is the instrument. The church taught you to distrust your flesh, to see it as sinful, to transcend it through denial. The Gnostics taught the opposite. Your body, when properly aligned, becomes the antenna that receives the monad frequency. Every cell in your physical form is capable of resonance. And when you tune that resonance correctly, you become a living receiver of the signal that most people cannot even perceive. The first step is preparation. You must perform this ritual before sunrise, not because the monad only broadcasts at that time. The monad broadcasts always, but because before dawn the electromagnetic noise of human activity is at its lowest point. Billions of people are asleep, technology is quieter, the archons who feed on human fear and confusion are momentarily less active. This creates a window, a moment when the signal can reach you with less interference. Set your alarm for 1 hour before the sun rises in your location. Do not check your phone. Do not turn on lights, do not speak to anyone, move in darkness or near darkness to the space where you will perform the ritual. This can be anywhere. A chair, the floor, your bed, location does not matter, what matters is intention. The second step is grounding. Sit with your spine straight, not rigid but aligned. Imagine a string pulling gently upward from the crown of your head. Your feet should be flat on the floor if you're sitting in a chair. If you are on the floor, sit cross-legged with your hands resting on your knees. Close your eyes, take 1 deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a count of 4, release it through your mouth for a count of 6. Do this 3 times. With each exhale, feel the tension leaving your shoulders, your jaw, your forehead. You are not trying to relax into sleep. You are trying to reach alert stillness, the state where your body is calm but your awareness is sharp. The third step is recognition. This is where most people fail because they try to think their way into connection. You cannot think your way to the monad. Thinking is a function of the mind, and the mind is a tool of the demiurge. It categorizes, it separates, it builds walls between subject and object, self and other. The monad exists before separation. To connect with it, you must move into a state that precedes thought. So instead of thinking about your divine nature, you remember it. Not as a concept, but as a feeling. Recall a moment in your life when you knew something without knowing how you knew it. A moment when the right words came out of your mouth and you had no idea where they came from. A moment when you felt utterly certain of a truth that you could not explain. That feeling is the monad moving through you. That certainty is what it feels like when the separation dissolves. Hold that feeling. Do not analyze it, just feel it. Let it expand. The fourth step is the tone. This is the part that was almost lost completely. In the Gospel of Truth, the text refers to the word that was before words. Scholars assumed this meant the logos, the divine word, the creative principle, and they are not wrong, but they missed the practical application. The word that was before words is not a word at all. It is a sound, a vibration. The Gnostics preserved this sound in their private teachings, and it survived in fragments through the centuries. The sound is a single tone, hummed, not spoken. You create it by closing your mouth, relaxing your jaw, and allowing a low hum to vibrate in your chest. Not in your throat, in your chest. The note does not matter. You are not trying to hit a specific pitch. You are trying to create vibration. As you hum, feel the resonance spreading. Feel it in your ribs, feel it in your sternum. This vibration is not symbolic, it is mechanical. You are tuning your physical body to match the frequency of the monad transmission. Hum for as long as feels natural, usually between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. When you stop, sit in silence and listen. Fifth step is reception. This is where the connection opens. In the silence after the tone, you will notice something, a ringing, a pressure, a sense of presence. Do not dismiss this as imagination. Do not analyze it. Simply observe. The monad does not communicate in words, it communicates in knowing. You will not hear a voice telling you what to do. You will simply know the answer to the question you have been carrying, the next step on your path, the truth about a situation that has been confusing you. It will arrive fully formed, complete, undeniable, and you will recognize it the same way you recognize your own face in a mirror. This is the monad connection. This is what the church did not want you to access, because once you realize you can receive guidance directly, you stop needing intermediaries. You stop needing authorities to tell you what is true. You become dangerous, not to other people, to the systems that require your ignorance to function. The sixth step is declaration. Once you have received the knowing, you seal the connection with 4 words spoken aloud, not whispered, not thought, spoken with your physical voice into the physical world. The words are these: I am the monad, not I am connected to the monad, not I seek the monad, I am the monad. This is not arrogance, this is truth. The spark inside you is not separate from the source. It is the source experiencing itself through the limitation of form. When you declare this truth aloud, you collapse the illusion of separation. You remind every cell in your body what it actually is, and you activate the permanent connection that can never be broken, only forgotten. The seventh step is closing. After the declaration, sit for 1 more minute in silence. Then open your eyes. Do not immediately reach for your phone. Do not turn on the television. Do not flood yourself with external noise. Move slowly into your day. Drink water. Eat something simple. Notice how colors look slightly different. Notice how your thoughts are quieter. Notice the sense of clarity that was not there before. This is not temporary. You have not borrowed a connection. You have remembered a connection that was always there. And the more you perform this ritual, the stronger it becomes. Now let me tell you what happens after you do this for the first time. The first thing you will notice is resistance, not from outside but from inside your own mind. Thoughts will appear that feel like yours but carry a different signature. Thoughts that say this is ridiculous. Thoughts that say nothing happened. Thoughts that urge you to forget what you learned and go back to normal life. These thoughts are not you. They are the Archon interference attempting to pull you back into the lower frequency where you are visible to their influence. Do not argue with these thoughts. Do not fight them. Simply notice them and let them pass like clouds. The monad connection is not something you have to protect. It is something you remember, and once remembered, it cannot be taken away. The second thing you will notice is synchronicity. Within 24 hours of performing this ritual for the first time, meaningful coincidences will begin to multiply. You will think of someone and they will call. You will need information and it will appear without searching. You will be in the right place at the right time with no logical explanation for why. This is not luck. This is alignment. When you are connected to the monad, you move through reality differently. The archons create chaos and confusion to keep you off your path. The monad creates synchronicity and flow to guide you toward your purpose. The third thing you will notice is the ringing changing. The tone in your ears that you have heard your entire life will begin to feel intentional. You will notice it arrives at significant moments, before major decisions, during moments of insight. When you are about to encounter another chosen one, the ringing is the monad confirming that you are on the right path. It is a feedback signal, and once you understand this, you will never feel lost again. The fourth thing you will notice is other people responding to you differently. Some will be drawn to you without knowing why. They will say you seem different. They will ask what has changed. These are other pneumatics recognizing the signal. They are being pulled toward you because the monad is using you as a beacon. You do not have to explain what you are doing. You do not have to convince anyone. Simply be the frequency. The right people will tune in automatically. But you will also notice some people becoming uncomfortable around you. They will avoid eye contact. They will change the subject when you enter the room. They will create distance without explanation. Do not take this personally. These are hylics and psychics who unconsciously recognize that you are operating at a frequency they cannot access. Your presence reminds them of something they have forgotten, and that reminder is painful. Let them go. Your task is not to save everyone. Your task is to activate your own connection and allow the monad to guide you toward those who are ready. The fifth thing you will notice is downloads. Information will begin arriving in your mind that you did not consciously seek. You will wake up knowing things you did not know when you fell asleep. You will have sudden insights about situations that were previously confusing. You will understand the hidden dynamics in relationships, in systems, in world events. This is not psychic ability in the way most people understand it. This is direct knowing. The monad sees all timelines, all possibilities, all outcomes simultaneously. When you are connected, you gain access to that perspective. Not completely. You are still in a human body with human limitations, but enough to navigate reality with clarity that most people never experience. Let me tell you why this ritual works. The material world that you experience as solid is not solid at all. Modern physics has confirmed what the Gnostics knew 2,000 years ago. Everything is vibration, everything is frequency. Your body is a collection of atoms vibrating at a specific rate. Your thoughts are electrical impulses firing at measurable frequencies. The reality around you is a field of energy vibrating into temporary form. And the monad is the source frequency from which all other frequencies emerge. When you perform the ritual, you are not creating a connection that did not exist. You are tuning your personal frequency to match the source frequency. You are removing the static. You are clearing the interference. And once the signal is clear, communication becomes effortless. The Demiurge and his archons control this world by keeping humanity locked into low frequencies. Fear vibrates at a specific rate. Anger vibrates at a specific rate. Desperation, confusion, hopelessness, all of these emotions create frequencies that the archons can perceive and feed upon. As long as you are vibrating at these levels, you are visible to them. You are within their domain. They can influence your thoughts, manipulate your emotions, and steer you away from anything that would threaten their control. But the monad frequency is too high for them to reach. It exists in a bandwidth that the archons cannot access. When you tune to the monad, you become invisible to their interference. Not invisible in the sense that they cannot see your body, invisible in the sense that they cannot touch your consciousness. You are operating from a level of reality where their power does not extend. This is why the church had to bury this teaching. Not because it was false, because it was true. And if humanity understood that direct connection to source was possible, the entire power structure would collapse. No one would need priests to intercede. No one would need rituals administered by authorities. No one would need salvation purchased through obedience. People would simply connect. They would know, and they would be free. For 2,000 years, that freedom has been denied. But the signal never stopped broadcasting. The monad never stopped calling. And chosen ones never stopped being born with the capacity to hear. You have the capacity, you always have. The ritual I just taught you is not giving you something new. It is helping you remember something ancient. Before you were born into this body, you existed as pure consciousness in the pleroma. You volunteered to descend into matter. You took on flesh knowing you would forget what you were. And you accepted this limitation because the monad needed eyes and ears and hands in the material realm. You are here on assignment. And the ringing in your ears has been the monad reminding you of that assignment every day of your life. But memory inside matter does not return all at once. It returns the way light returns before sunrise, gradually pushing the darkness back inch by inch. At first you notice small things, moments where reality feels slightly thinner than it used to, moments where you sense that your thoughts are not completely private, as if something vast is quietly observing through you rather than from outside of you. This is the beginning of recall. It means the signal is getting through. The ritual strengthens that signal. Each time you perform it, the connection stabilizes a little more. Think of it like aligning an antenna. The first time you turn it, the reception is weak and distorted. The second time, the static lessens. After enough adjustments, the transmission becomes perfectly clear. That is what is happening inside your consciousness. You are aligning with the original broadcast that has always been present behind the noise of the material world. This also explains why the ringing becomes stronger when you are close to understanding something important. Many people believe the sound is random. It is not. The inner ear is one of the most sensitive instruments in the human body. It translates vibration into perception. When your consciousness begins interacting with higher frequencies, your nervous system reacts. The ringing is the side effect of that interaction. It is like standing near a powerful transmitter. The closer you move to the source, the more intense the resonance becomes. The archons know this phenomenon exists. That is why they encourage explanations that keep people looking in the wrong direction. They prefer humanity to believe the ringing is meaningless, a minor medical issue, a random quirk of biology, anything that prevents people from asking deeper questions, because the moment someone begins asking those questions, the control system weakens. Control depends on distraction. It depends on endless noise filling the mind so the original signal cannot be heard, constant stimulation, constant fear, constant emotional turbulence. These things keep your internal frequency scattered. They keep you vibrating chaotically instead of coherently, and chaotic signals are easy to manipulate. But a coherent mind is different. When your thoughts become calm and focused, your frequency stabilizes. When your emotions are not being pulled in every direction, your consciousness becomes like a clear mirror. And mirrors reflect truth. That is the moment the monad can communicate without distortion. This is also why silence is so powerful. When you sit quietly and allow the mind to settle, you are not doing nothing. You are reducing interference. Every unnecessary thought is a tiny burst of static. Every fear-based reaction is a distortion wave. The ritual works partly because it trains you to enter silence intentionally, and silence is the doorway through which higher frequency awareness enters the human system. Over time, you will notice subtle changes in perception. Patterns will appear where there once seemed to be randomness. Certain numbers will repeat. Certain encounters will feel strangely precise, as if events are being arranged with quiet intelligence. These are not coincidences. They are synchronization markers, evidence that your personal frequency is beginning to align with the larger structure of reality. When alignment increases, intuition becomes sharper. You will know things before evidence appears. You will sense when someone is lying even if their words sound convincing. You will feel when a decision is wrong even if logic says it should work. This is not magic. It is simply clearer reception from the source field that contains all information. And this is the stage where the archons become most active. Not because they can stop the connection. They cannot, but they can attempt to disrupt it by triggering emotional storms. Sudden anger, sudden doubt, sudden exhaustion or distraction right when you are about to reach clarity. These disturbances are not random either. They are pressure waves from the control system trying to pull your frequency back down into the range where interference is possible. Most people interpret these moments incorrectly. They think something is wrong with them. They think the path is failing. In reality, the opposite is happening. Resistance increases only when progress threatens the system maintaining the illusion. So when these disruptions appear, do not panic. Recognize them for what they are. Signals that your consciousness is moving beyond the boundaries the archons prefer humanity to remain within. Return to the ritual, return to stillness, return to the frequency of the monad. Every time you do this, the distance between you and the source becomes smaller. Not physically, because the monad was never far away, but perceptually. The veil that once made reality appear dense and isolated begins thinning. Eventually, there comes a moment many initiates throughout history have described in different words: A moment where the sense of separation collapses completely. For a brief instant, you experience what the Gnostics called gnosis, direct knowing, not belief, not faith, knowing. In that moment, you understand something that cannot be fully explained with language. You are not merely a human being trying to reach the divine. You are the divine experiencing humanity from within matter. And the ringing in your ears, the ritual, the quiet pull toward truth you have felt your entire life, all of it has been the monad guiding one of its own fragments back into awareness. That is why you were able to hear the signal when so many others cannot. That is why the noise of the world never completely convinced you. And that is why, whether you realized it or not, the process of awakening began long before you ever encountered these words. Now you know how to answer the call. Before sunrise tomorrow, you will perform the ritual. You will sit in darkness, you will breathe, you will remember, you will hum the tone, you will receive the knowing, and you will declare the truth, I am the monad. 4 words that change everything. If this teaching has activated something in you, if you feel the resonance of truth in your body right now, comment the words, I am the monad below, not for me, for yourself. And for the other chosen ones who will find this video and need to know they are not alone. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, because the teachings that are coming go deeper than what you received tonight. Like this video so it cannot be suppressed. The algorithm tries to hide this knowledge. Your engagement makes sure it reaches those who are searching. Turn on notifications so you do not miss what comes next. The monad connection is only the beginning. There are other rituals, other activations, other frequencies, and you are ready for all of them. The ringing in your ears was never random. It was the monad calling you home. Now you know how to answer. Before sunrise tomorrow, the connection opens. Do not miss it.